Cooking is one of those things that can feel like one of the best parts of your day or like the last thing that you want to do when you're exhausted and just trying to get through the week. And if you've ever gone through a phase where cooking starts to feel repetitive or uninspiring, it's usually not because you've run out of recipes. It's because somewhere along the way, it stopped feeling creative and started feeling like something else that you had to take care of. And I've definitely been there. And what I've found is that making cooking feel fun again doesn't come from doing more. It comes from making a few small shifts that bring a little more curiosity and creativity back into the kitchen. So in this video, I'm going to share 4 things that I do to help keep cooking interesting and enjoyable, even during the busiest weeks. The first thing I do is give myself space to experiment. And I don't mean spending hours on elaborate recipes. I mean choosing one meal during the week where I'm not trying to be efficient. Maybe I try a new ingredient, maybe I tweak something I already make all the time, or maybe I throw a few things together and just see how it turns out. When we're busy, it's easy to treat every meal like it has to be quick and predictable. Get in, cook dinner, and move on with the night. But having even one meal where you're not rushing changes the way that cooking feels. It reminds you that it can still be creative and flexible. And sometimes those small experiments turn into recipes you end up coming back to all of the time. The second thing I do is plan around one ingredient that interests me. Instead of asking what meals I should make this week, I start with something much simpler. What ingredient sounds interesting right now? It could be something that I haven't used in a while, something I spotted at the grocery store, or just something I already have that I want to use in a different way. That one ingredient becomes the starting point for a few meals. It gives the week some direction without turning meal planning into a bigger project. It naturally gets you thinking more creatively about your food because instead of following a recipe from start to finish, you're asking what else could this become? Sometimes it works out really well, sometimes it doesn't. But either way, you learn something, and that's what keeps cooking from feeling repetitive and uninspiring. The third thing I remind myself is that creativity doesn't have to mean complicated. A lot of people think that trying something new in the kitchen means a recipe with 20 different ingredients and 15 different steps. But some of the best changes come from really simple adjustments. Swap the base of a dish, use a different sauce, add one new ingredient, take something you already love and shift it in a slightly different direction. Cooking creatively doesn't have to take more time, and during a busy week, the simpler the change, the easier it is to actually follow through on. That's usually when cooking starts to feel fun again. Not when you're doing more, but when you're giving yourself permission to do something a little different with what you already have. And the fourth thing, and probably the easiest one, is playing around with spices. Spices are one of the simplest ways to completely change the direction of a recipe without changing much else. The same ingredients can feel completely different just by shifting the seasoning, whether that be something smoky, something warm, or something bright and tangy. That one change can transform the entire dish. And once you start realizing how much spices can shift the way a meal feels, cooking starts to open up a lot more. You're not stuck making the same thing over and over again. You're just adjusting what you already know and love. Cooking starts feeling fun again when it stops feeling rigid. You don't need every meal to be exciting, but it does help avoid getting stuck in the exact same routine week after week. And a lot of the times it just takes one small shift to bring back that curiosity. A new ingredient, a different spice blend, one meal where you're not rushing. These things sound small, but they make a bigger difference than you'd expect. And the more you practice it, the more natural it starts to feel until eventually it's just the way you cook. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to give it a thumbs up and subscribe so you get notified whenever I put out a new video like this. And if you want cooking to feel easier, simpler, and actually fun again, you can join me inside the Simple Plant Pantry. You'll get exclusive recipes, tips, and early access to videos, all designed to help you transform your weeknight meals effortlessly. You can find a link in the description and in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.